Evening, folks. I'm John Sullivan. I'm going to change my name on this, but um, the we're waiting for several other commissioners to sign on, so we'll have a quorum, and then we will be able to move forward for this evening's meeting.
John, Amy indicated she would not be able to make the meeting. She had a conflict tonight.
Okay. Did we hear from Tim at all?
Yes, I heard from Tim. He was planning to be here,
Okay,
and
and
Anna as well.
okay. Excuse me. And while we're waiting, Janet, do you know if for 14 Meadowbrook, was there um a plan for of the proposed septic system?
Yes, I think Deb sent that out with the other documents for tonight.
Oh, okay. Any idea when that was sent out?
I'm not so sure it was sent out tonight, John. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't see the certified mailers,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, Karen, oh, I'm sorry. Um, those were uploaded onto OpenGov.
Did you actually see them on OpenGov?
She did it by certified mailing receipt, not the green cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was stamped by the post office that those did go out.
Oh, good. Yeah, because
Okay.
I didn't see it on.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Um, yeah, I was just the what I pulled up, let me see what the date is. I have from May 1st, I pulled up where the test pits were, but I was looking for uh an actual and I didn't know if Deb, you send that when it comes to OpenGov, when we have a plan on OpenGov,
Yeah,
do you send that planned out to commissioners?
yeah, because usually I always request a PDF
Yeah.
in addition
Hmm.
to them posting it. So,
Okay.
yeah, but it wasn't today that I sent it. It had to be probably the end of last week.
End of last week.
Hmm,
Okay, I'm wondering if because I searched by address
and you
on my.
don't see it. Huh? It's,
Mr. Chairman, this is John Glosser. So I'm spelling for Karen tonight. I can
Okay,
probably email that plan to you if it helps.
that'd be great. If you could please, it's Old Farm
Yeah,
at AOL.com.
okay.
Now my spam folder is gonna, the powers that be will hear that and I'll get all sorts of things. But let's see. I think so. Given what I see, currently we have Zega, Anna, Sarah. Where's Sarah? There she is, and myself. So we officially have a quorum, and then Tim should be signing in shortly. So we'll go ahead and open up the meeting and proceed. So welcome everyone to the May 27th, 2026 Dover Conservation Commission hearing. Per the governor's edict from a couple years ago, this meeting will be held remotely pursuant to Mass Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which extends through June 30th, 2027, the ability of public bodies to meet in a fully remote manner. So hence the Zoom meeting. And I'll call to order and have a roll call vote. So if you could just I'll call out your name and you signify here. Sarah,
Here.
Anna,
Here.
Zega,
Here.
and I, John Sullivan, here as well. Given that, I'll open public comments for up to 2 minutes on any topics that are not listed on tonight's agenda. Is there anybody here who has something they want to bring to our attention? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed with this evening's hearing. So first item up this evening is 34 Haven Street, a restoration plan relative to compliance and regulatory guidance. Who is representing? It's Lamont. I don't know if it's a Ms. or Mr. Is there anybody representing them here this evening?
Yep, Russ Waldron, Applied Ecological Sciences,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna pop the
Put a plan up.
plan up.
Okay, let's just make sure. Oh, good. Okay.
So this is the current existing conditions. I had gone out and reflagged the wetlands, and this goes back to an enforcement order in 2018. Apparently, the owners had done some clearing in this area here. So I was asked to go out, reflag the wetlands, which I did. And this line here, this is an little isolated pool. That I don't think changed that much. Apparently, the BVW line here changed pretty dramatically because originally, on the original existing conditions, the 100-foot buffer zone kind of went through the house. And now that whole part of the property is non-jurisdictional. I would assume that originally the wetland was delineated really conservatively, probably under the bylaw requirement, veg only, but and they probably went even more conservatively than that to adjust the line as much as it was. Anyways, so this came about apparently as a past enforcement order. And so I was asked to go out, reflag the property, which I did, and then reviewed all of the information from 2018, all of the enforcement orders, the photos, the minutes, the meeting minutes. And the folks, the owners were asked or required to do some mitigation planting in the affected area right around here. And the commission in the minutes, specified or suggested some, very specific species, oaks, maples. And when I, went out and kind of assessed this area, none of those plantings were in. So what was planted were these four Bradford pears and these Norway maples. Um, when they were put in, I have no idea. I mean, these two are pretty good size. This one's small, and these are all, 2-inch caliper, so pretty not real big Bradford pears. So basically, I prepared, a report and all of my findings and sent it off to Janet. And basically, we just want to know what the commission wants to be done as far as, dealing with the past enforcement order, because there is a project in the works to raise the existing dwelling and build a new home. And but first, we want to get this all cleared up and get that off the books. And so that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay. So, thank you, Russ. So we saw there was movement on the wetland line to the left. It looks like there was movement on around uh, the isolated wetland as well.
Could be, yeah, it could be.
So the 100-foot offset, did that change materially or?
Um, Actually, let me pull up the existing conditions or the previous existing conditions. So now do I have to share this as well or pull the other one down? How does that work?
Normally pull, I don't think you can split screen, so I think pull this down, pull the other one up.
Okay. Um, Stop share. And Zoom share. Okay. So this
Mhm.
was, yeah, okay. So this was, yeah, actually it changed quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was
So,
the original existing conditions from, way back when. Oh, so I guess the 100-foot, just caught the corner. So yeah, this must have been flagged as well very conservatively.
mhm.
And but today well, what's left is what's left. And that's what I had to go by as far as, the vegetation. And I looked at the soils, over here and what is still the wooded area and it's basically is what it is now. It's probably the more accurate delineation based on all the science.
So did you run across hydrated soils or anything of that sort, gray soil or
Yeah, but only
you-
very, very close, very down near very close to the water.
okay.
Yeah.
And Janet, did you have a chance to review Russ's wetland delineation?
No, no, this was really a confusing situation, and I really thought the commission needed to have their eyes on this before we go forward.
I see.
I mean, we don't have any filing. We have nothing formal in front of us. I haven't gotten DEP forms or any of that. But,
Okay.
um, you know, it begs the question, that's a substantial change in the wetland line. We do under our bylaw, we favor a vegetation delineation. And this just looks really odd to me, that much of a change. Um, and I think at least one of the owners is on here. I have to think that the original enforcement order was for some clearing and tree removal, and perhaps there's been some conversion of BVW into lawn in this situation. I'm also, Russ, it's looking like there is a 200-foot offset, so the stream in question must be perennial.
Well, it's not, or at least it's not mapped as such. So I think, however they came up with the riverfront offsets, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just picked it off the topo map and assumed it was, just put it on there because I
Well,
mean, I've seen
so,
that
well,
done a number of times before without really, verifying whether the stream's mapped as perennial or can be
mhm.
verified as perennial.
So
But
what I'm seeing, if I can just interject, so what I'm seeing on this, the original map, is it basically looks like it was using the Mass GIS line as the delineation there. So it doesn't look like they actually did a true delineation. Um, I don't know if we have any paperwork that said they did, but on this plan, it's noting that everything is coming off Mass GIS, which we know is notoriously unreliable in terms of things. So this may not be as much because where things have been delineated on the ground, we have not been running into significant differences over the years. But I could see if they use GIS and then you went out and did an actual ground survey, I that could explain some of the discrepancies there. So I guess what we're dealing with here is, and it's also looking like the trees that are shown on that plan look like Bradford pears that may have I mean, it's funny that those Bradford pears are showing up there.
yeah, it's the same four,
Yeah.
basically.
And yet when was this? This was so in 10 years they've only grown an inch, if that.
Yeah,
This is
Bradfords don't grow fast, but they are
no.
considered invasive.
Yeah, and they grow up quickly and then they topple
Right.
relatively quickly as well. So we don't know if those had anything to do. They most likely had nothing to do with the tree planting we were looking for. So the why don't we so it appears as if what you're telling us is you expect to be coming forward with a full-on filing well, you may not if you're replacing the dwelling and you stay outside the buffer.
Well, I think an ANRAD would be helpful
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
get to get the delineations locked in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't disagree with that. The question, Janet, is for the enforcement order from more than 10 years ago, uh, what do we, where do we go at this moment in time?
Yeah, I'm thinking that actually an NOI that incorporates a restoration planting plan, and we would also then approve the delineation of the wetlands, since you'd have to
Sure.
go through the same steps anyways.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, then that um, memorializes everything for the status quo currently, and could also be utilized for uh, any new construction if it shows that the proposed house is outside the buffer, or even if it's inside the buffer, it still would work. Um, and do you know, Russ, any idea what the septic system is here?
I do not.
Oh, Krook.
I, I I can answer that. If you
Okay.
look if you look at the 154.6 mark from the
Yep.
uh it's about halfway up that line is where the system, if you look just to the left where the wetlands is, you see a round circle. It says SMH.
Oh, right. Yeah, manhole. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, and so are you the owner?
No, I work
No.
for Mitchell. My name's
Oh, I see.
Collins.
Okay. Um, then okay, I was just curious where that is, which is interesting. I'm sure somebody, if there's a new house to go up, there'll be test pits and so forth. It's a good sized lot, but we'll see what issues it has with it. I think Janet's recommendation relative to an NOI that memorializes the wetland lines as well as laying out the tree replacements is the appropriate way to go from here.
Sounds good.
So any commissioners, anyone have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just really briefly, I'm going to be curious if we recommended the Norway maples back in the day, because that
No.
would be a very
No,
weird
they
choice.
weren't recommended. No.
Oh, okay, okay.
No.
No, it was
That makes
oaks,
sense.
red oak, black oak, red
Okay.
maple, sugar maple, and a couple
Normal things. Great. Sounds
normal
good.
things.
Yeah, yeah. I think there may have even been some dogwoods in there, but
It
if
might
I
have been, yeah.
Cool.
I just know that the size of the trees that came down could not do a 1-to-1 Basil Lynch because it would have filled the entire lot with trees. So I think the proposed enforcement order was was very modest in its scale. Okay, then why don't we Janet, anything to add to that decision?
But no, I think that's it. And so, the proposed, have you done your test pits for septic yet or not?
We have not.
Okay.
We
And
have.
then-
It was my understanding, I'm hearing this from Rick Lind, who's been working on this, who couldn't make it tonight. It was my understanding that until this issue got resolved, no other boards wanted to look at anything.
Yeah,
Got
So
it.
we're
And-
trying to get this issue resolved so we can move forward.
Okay.
Do you know if it's the same owner as
It
11
is,
years ago?
Mrs. Lamont is here.
Yeah.
She's in the audience here.
Oh, I
and
see her. Yeah, she's in San Francisco.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I was hoping someone could clarify for her what an NOI is.
Sure.
She understands.
Okay. So, is it Vicky? May I call you Vicky?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you recall from 11 years ago, but the brouhaha over the cut trees and so forth. And then our enforcement agent retired, and this seems to have gotten dropped through the cracks there. We still want to move forward with the planting plan, but one of the concerns is that the original wetland delineation used satellite delineation that is notoriously unreliable, at least on a plus or minus 25-foot basis. And given that after 11 years, the trees still have not been planted, and the potential that you'd be looking to put a new building there, the easiest thing to do, a NOI is an abbreviation for a notice of intent. And with that, you have a wetlands expert go out. Well, Russ has already done the delineation on the ground, which seems to have, at least on the first review, has worked to your benefit in moving things away from the current building and the like. That notice of intent identifies how he comes up with that line, what he sees for plants that are known to be wetland plants versus upland plants. And it also can be incorporated in that way because of the time difference, the amount of time that's gone by to basically create the planting plan that was supposed to have taken place before. That gives you a document that will be very helpful moving forward with, any sort of new construction. It's also with once it's agreed upon with the board, especially on the delineation, then there's no second guessing it. The delineation is what it is, and we just go by the data there. One of the other things is there's a 200-foot offset to a stream according to GIS, which by itself is suspect. GIS is somebody help me, graphic, is it anybody know what it stands for?
Geographical Information System.
There we go. Thank you. I kept having graphic in my mind. And so that's that stream that offset may move, which gives you more flexibility as well. And so it's all a good thing for you to have if you're moving forward to do that. And it's the most definitive way of determining what's going on the ground. So that's what that is. Do you have any questions regarding that?
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
And does this actually say there's a stream there? Because I've never seen
Well,
any.
no, it says it's a 200-foot offset from the stream.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
so 200 feet into the woods, and it's very easy for people not to realize that. But according to that, there's a stream in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, way in the woods.
and yeah, and basically, if you're within 200 feet of that stream, there are certain regulations that come into play.
I see.
And in this case, if that line moves, it's not an issue, or if you're not doing anything in that area, it's not an issue, but it needs to be shown if it exists there. And Russ can also determine, or whoever would be out on site, whether that stream runs all year round or runs intermittently. And if it
If
runs
he can
intermittently,
get to it, it's way out there in the swamp.
yeah, that's it. That's true. So it may not be, given what you're looking at, it looks like you're pretty much within the setbacks of your building setbacks anyway. So it really may not be material even if it's kept where it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Plus, we're in a drought, so anything, any observations made right now don't mean anything.
Well, so does that work even for a low drought?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
drought
Any sort of,
period. Yeah.
so any sort of drought determination whatsoever puts everything on hold
Yep.
for that? Okay. Um, okay, then so I think what we're looking at is in order to move forward with the enforcement order, we're going to request that this be moved to a notice of intent and show the wetlands on that and the proposed restoration that had been requested or required 11 years ago. Okay.
Mhm.
Very good.
And Janet, is that something that needs to be voted on, or is that apparent on its surface?
No, I think just the review and then the guidance tonight, that should be sufficient.
Okay, great. So there you go. We look forward to having you come forward if you need it. Well, you will need it actually because you still need to put the trees in regardless.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
thank you.
Very
Thank-
good. Thank you.
Okay, have a good evening. Okay, next up we have 14 Meadowbrook Road, a notice of intent for, I believe that's a septic system replacement.
I think it's a little bit more than that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
So
and
two things, Mr. Chairman, I did email you the plan. So, but I
okay.
emailed it twice because I noticed the first one is the one that was sent to me and it's sideways.
Oh,
So
well,
use
thank
the
you for
second one, the second one I sent to you.
thanks for
you
your
do this-
consideration there.
You do the
Mhm.
screen sharing thing or no?
Yeah, no, go ahead, pull it up. I just I have a
No,
much
I'll
bigger
screw
screen.
it. I'll screw it up for sure. If you can do it, it'll be better.
Oh, okay, because I'm actually I was loading it on a larger screen that's not part of this, which is why I'm dealing with the notebook for Zoom and a different screen for review. Let me see.
Or you
Okay,
can go
let's see
ahead.
if do you want to give it a try,
Just
John?
talk me through it.
Okay. Basically, from within Zoom, you're going to let's see if I can get
The
oops.
little green button, screen share.
Yep,
Share
exactly.
screen. And
And
now I
then
get
that
like a whiteboard thing.
Yep, and that should give you access to your file directory
Hmm,
or potentially what you have open already if you have this already open.
no, I don't have it open. So see, that's my problem is I don't really see where I'm gonna see this.
So right now, do you just have a white screen?
Yeah,
And Anna, any thoughts?
see, because when I do files, it's only on a flash drive, so it's not really telling me where it is.
Can you go if are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
Can you go to File Explorer?
Oh. No,
Flash drive's
Okay.
plugged in and everything. Sorry to be super annoying.
Yeah. Well, he did email me it, so I don't
Okay.
know if it came off his. Let me see if I can.
I don't think you're gonna get it from me.
Okay, let me just see if I can get it onto mine. give me just a moment, please. Hmm. Okey-doke. Okay. And huh. I have a taskbar that does not want to go away. Um, sorry about that. Um, hmm.
I believe the owner, Dapo, is here. I don't know if he might be able to share.
Yeah, I don't, for some reason I can't get my taskbar which is covering all my Zoom settings. I had it a moment ago and it just popped up again. Um, so, um, and you don't see it on your screen at all, John. Is that right?
Hang on one second.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I might be able to share. Let's take a look here. Yes. Okie doke. Is that appearing?
No.
Oh, interesting. It
There you
looks
go.
lovely on my
Here we go.
on my screen.
You have it
But,
now. It's
What's
there.
that?
I have it.
It's up. It's
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Okay. So, let's oops. Okay, does that give you, I'm just trying to zoom in on this.
Maybe just pull it down a little, I think, John.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do, but
That's
I've,
not bad right there. That's not bad.
yeah, I got a little bit of an update before I logged on tonight, and that seems to be wreaking a little havoc. Okay. There we go.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, Chair Sullivan and members of the board, my name is John Glossa. I've been in front of the board before. It's Glossa Engineering, 46 East Street in East Walpole. And Karen does most of my wetland delineations for me. I do come in front of your board every once in a while. So Karen's on a well-deserved vacation, and she asked me to present the plans for you. These were done by Civilized Solutions, who is Eric Dickinson, is the registered sanitarian who drew up these plans. And, you know, a sanitarian can do a septic system plan per Title V. So I think my understanding is they had come in front of the board before with a request for determination, and the location of the test pits was established. And now Eric has done the test pits, and he has proposed the septic system in the location as it's shown. It's an Elgin system, so it's a alternative innovative system. And you can see it has a septic tank followed by a pump chamber, and then the pump chamber pumps up into the Elgin leach fields. But also the builder owner, who's I know is on the call here tonight, asked that there be some additions shown on the plan. So you can see that there are 2 additions in the front of the house, and there is an addition sort of in the back where they're going to redo the chimney. And then there's an addition in the rear that's more or less over the patio. And the other thing is the well is going to be abandoned, and the house will be connected to a water system that's out in Meadowbrook Road. And for those of you who might not know where Meadowbrook Road is, it's almost in Natick. So all the way out Claybrook Road, and it goes off, Meadowbrook Road is off on the right. It's a very nice neighborhood. This is a very nice house. It just needs some upgrades, that's for sure. It needs a lot of work. So there are a number of parts to this construction which are within the 70-foot no disturb. The grading around the septic system, around the leach fields. The leach field itself is not within 70 feet, but the grading that extends off to the right as we're looking at it is within the 70 feet. The additions in the front are within the 70 feet. The addition in the rear is within the 70 feet. Or both additions that are in the rear and within the 70 feet. The abandonment of the well is within the 70 feet. And a little bit of portion of that new water line is within the 70 feet. Now, I did read Janet's peer review, and I would say I agree with everything. I think what Eric Dickinson was focused on here was a septic system plan. So I don't think his focus really was on those additions. So I think it's obvious that the compost sock needs to enclose all of the areas that are going to be disturbed and all of the areas where work is going to take place, whether that's, moving equipment around or whatever. That's pretty much a standard procedure. And as I said, I went through this, and I did double talk to Karen about this, I believe that what should happen here is that all of those revisions that Janet asked for should be added to this plan, and then it should be brought back in front of the board. I would recommend that the board continue this till its next hearing so that Eric can revise the plan in accordance with what Janet asked for, and if anything else the board asks for, and then finish this up at the next hearing. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I did go out to the site, obviously, walked around, checked out everything. So probably
is the current septic system where the proposed system is?
That I can't tell you. But I don't think so, because they would have hit it with those 2 test pits. But I think it's in that vicinity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Janet, do you have anything? This seems reasonable to continue this. Do you have anything to add outside of your regulatory report?
So I did want to confirm that they did receive a DEP number. It's 0942. There were no technical comments from DEP. All work is within the buffer. And I did want to confirm that we received the abutter certification confirmation that was received in OpenGov. So all abutters were notified. And there are two waiver requests here. One is for work disturbance within the 50. The other is for a number of structures within the 70-foot, as John mentioned. And then I had 11, I outlined 11 items that need to be revised or submitted that were new. Of substantial ones is, they are, so it's a one-level ranch home. They are built second level. So I would like to see how roof runoff is going to be handled, whether through a rain garden or infiltration trench, or how they propose to handle that. And then if you can scroll the map down a bit, John.
Okay, so down being, let's see if we get that way? Or
Yes,
which,
yes.
okay, that,
So keep
so-
going a little bit. What,
whoops, did I go up too high?
you went up too high. That's good.
Okay,
So, the wetland line that's shown by number W1 through, the numbered, that basically is a stream, an intermittent stream that runs through the backyard. On the other side of the stream is extensive lawn area. So a good portion of actual wetland on this property is being treated as a lawn. And even now, it's extremely wet when you cross that lawn. And when I did the site inspection with the owner, I said, as mitigation for quite a bit of disturbance within the 50-foot and 70, that the commission may want to see some of that lawn area converted back to a natural state. So again, that's not a regulatory requirement. And the owner was going to think about that, because it's a very extensive lawn, but quite honestly, there's a stream in the middle of the lawn. And so it doesn't really look to me like that the far lawn area, was being particularly used in the past. So that's just something for the owner to think about and then come back. And then I did want to remind John and his team that any kind of revisions or new documents we need at least a week before the next meeting. So we would need those a week from today on the 3rd by 12 noon, submitted in hard copy.
okay. And can, whoever is the communicating party, can they request formally just a quick letter to Conservation Office requesting a continuance? Is the appropriate way to handle that. Is there any further need for having the plan up?
No.
Okay.
It's probably,
Okay, there we go. Great, thank you. Okay, are there any questions from either John or the homeowner?
Janet, if I may, so are you saying, Janet, that some of those wetland flags are actually in what was used as a lawn, and behind the wetland flags where it's wetlands, you want it to be, is that what you were saying? I just want to make sure Karen understands when I tell her.
right. So whatever lawn you have that's been there a long time, it is basically grandfathered. But we do ask applicants to come in and consider, especially anything within, very close to a wetland, to consider at least providing some natural buffer to the wetland.
Okay, I see. I understand. So you're saying it's like lawn right up to the wetlands. And we
That's
want to
right.
make some
It's
sort of,
actually, it looks like I pulled up Zillow and I could see the stream in the backyard
yeah,
from the photos there. And so there's a backyard that goes beyond the stream on the other side of that. So there's wetlands. The lawn is actually in the wetlands. If you did
yeah.
hydro
I
testing and
understand.
stuff, you'd see that. And
Okay.
one of the things to think about, you're looking for waivers and so forth, is that, and I don't know if this is being built for resale or not, but as you go farther back on those wetlands, which does, I agree with, I think Janet mentioned, beyond the stream, there are a couple oak trees. It really isn't doesn't, it looks uneven. Not really a lawn that people were using. So the potential exists for wetland plantings
Right.
or some sort of something that might actually make it more attractive. And just with plants that are wetland obligates. And that's we're just putting you on notice that that may be might be a win-win situation for all parties.
Understood.
Okay.
And then the other thing, Mr. Chair, is, I can call Karen and she can give me the authorization to submit the letter to continue to the next hearing. So I can do that tomorrow for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then just the last thing, when I met with the owner, he had identified 2 trees very close to the house that will need to come out to build that second story. So I know he was going to, I think he forwarded that to Karen to be included in a revised NOI.
Okay.
And that was number 9 on my list.
Okay. So that's on your list now, Janet.
That's right.
Okay. So
Yeah, it
I
looks like-
will, yeah,
Mhm.
I will
Go ahead.
convey this to everybody. I mean, it's not my plan to draw. If it was
Mhm.
me, it probably would have been done by now. But anyway, I'll convey all this to Karen. Karen, I already had a conversation with her and she certainly understood. I said, Karen, everything that Janet has in her letter is very reasonable. So, my advice would be just to do what it says. And we will certainly consider the making the area near the wetlands as some sort of buffer area. And
Yeah, I just wanted to bring to your attention and also the homeowner's attention. The inclination would be to make that lawn smoother, nicer, and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, it's within the buffer, and some of it is very close, is within 25, which is a do not touch area.
right,
And then on the other side of the streams, I'm looking at the Zillow photos with the trees that are there. It's clear that somebody basically blew leaves off the small lawn in the back and just put them back in the area that's designated as a wetland. And clearly there's no reshaping, there's no additional loom to be brought in or anything like that, anywhere near the stream there. Okay. Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much. And
Okay.
we'll continue to our next hearing. Thank you.
all right. Thanks for helping me out there, Mr.
Welcome. Okay, next up we have 18 Walpole Street, a COC request. Why don't you fill us in, Janet, where we stand on that? Oh, you're on mute.
So the only outstanding issue on this COC request is installation of signage and bounds.
Okay.
So I discussed that. Brian Nelson from Metro West Engineering, who is handling the filing, is here, and I mentioned this to him. So I'm going to schedule a site meeting with him. We will locate the signage and bound locations. The other issue is that DLCT has a CR on a portion of this land that includes wetlands. And so I will loop Amy in to make sure that any signage or bounds they want to see are included.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Any questions, Brian?
No, I'd just like to add a couple things. And for the record, this is Brian Nelson with Metro West
Mhm.
Engineering. We have had, myself at least, have had 3 meetings with DLCT representatives on the site between over the last couple of years. We did prepare a pretty extensive sketch for them at their request, showing monument locations, and there are some encroachments that were prior to the current owners taking title of the property. So we detailed those. We last left it, I think it was about a year or so ago. I met with Amy out there, and we had made a few modifications to the sketch and sent it along. Haven't heard back And just from I think it was our initial hearing for this project, which I believe was either in 2022 or 2023. It was a while ago. We did offer to stake some of the corners and angle points along the northerly edge of the property for the DLCT, the restricted easement area, and we have done that. So those locations were shown on the as-built plan and the sketch that we provided to them. So we have done a bunch of that work, kind of as was promised with the initial hearing for this project.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for the update. And hopefully the next meeting we have Amy will be here, but we'll have discussions with her regardless. But and we'll refamiliarize ourselves with the interface between DLCT and Concom
Okay.
on that. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And so, Janet, is this something you feel could be continued to the next meeting, or is that going to be too soon to get signs in even after you meet there?
Yeah, 2 weeks will probably be too soon to schedule a meeting and then get the installation and schedule it with Amy too. So,
Okay. So Brian, if you could request a continuance to the second meeting from now.
Okay, so that would be the third, so somewhere around June 20?
That would be
24th.
June 24th.
24. Okay. So I'll submit that.
To Deb,
tomorrow.
yeah, in the
Yep.
office. Great. Thank you very much. Have a good
All right,
evening.
have a good night. Take care.
Thanks. Okay. Next up is 31 Springdale. Why don't you fill us in, Janet, where we stand?
Actually, the next item
Oh.
is for Haven Terrace COC, and the owner is in the
Oh,
meeting.
I'm sorry.
He did request that it be continued, but I did want to let him know that I would like the commission to discuss my recommendation that we have this COC peer reviewed by our third-party reviewer, Paul McManus. He handled the original order of condition, which included originally some replication work, and then that was amended to just requiring restoration work. But it was not, it's a little bit of a complicated order of conditions. And since Paul had handled the original and the amended, and then he also reviewed the original restoration plan, I think it would make sense to bring him on to do the review.
I don't disagree, and I think DeWalt, from late email you sent, you don't disagree either.
Yeah, John, no worries. From our side, I mean, we're willing to work with Paul. I think, there were two things outstanding that Janet mentioned in her email earlier this week. We need to get signs up, and then we need to get the deed restriction. So, those are in the works. The plantings and everything else have been done, 2.5 years ago, and I think it looks really good per Deb's report. So, I mean, we're happy to work with Paul to get this resolved.
Okay, then we'll contact Paul, have him contact you, yeah, if I recall, your flower meadow came in really nicely, and has it stayed that way?
Oh yeah, I mean it looks really beautiful. I mean I have photos. I'd love to show you guys if I can. Let me see if I can share here quickly. No, it's not gonna let me share this, is it? Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna be right back.
Oops.
So John, I would suggest a formal vote of the commission to hire a peer reviewer to review the POC.
I think that's a splendid idea. Can I hear a motion to do so, please?
I would like to make a motion to have a peer review / Paul McManus do a review on, is it for Haven Terrace?
Yeah,
For
for
Haven
Haven
Terrace.
Okay. I know no one's really up to speed on how to do a second, but can I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Zega?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So, well, we just voted on Paul coming in to do the peer review.
Okay.
There we go. And
Yeah, no worries. So this is the side of the house. So I can quickly show you if I can find the plan. So the original plan or the revised plan called for the planting of the buffer strip shrubs um, over here, up over here, and then restoring this. The lawn exceeded up to the well here to put conservation seed mix down. So I think that it initially called for 20 shrubs and then replacing any of the invasives we take out. So we ended up with over 80 shrubs in total. And as I mentioned, if I show you quickly, so this is the side where the lawn was. So that is now grown in. These become like almost 6 feet tall. In the summertime, it's a mix of wildflowers and conservation seed mix. This is on the.
Do you have pictures of the flowers of the back?
Yes. So this was literally taken this afternoon. This was taken a couple of hours ago. I have photos in the summertime that I can pull up for you, but this is and let me do that in one sec. But this is the back meadow. So this is what it looks like there. You can see, there was a lot of invasives back there, as Janet pointed out. Originally, they were all removed. They were a mix of Japanese barberry, Oriental bittersweet, multiflora rose, garlic mustard. Those were all removed. And that's just a close up of some of the shrubs, the dogwoods growing back there. So that I think that's grown in very nicely. And as I mentioned, I think we had a total of 80 shrubs. This area in the back left of the house there's a lot of invasives here. Just this area here has got about 20 planted shrubs and conservation seed mix that was put down. You can see the stake. The other issue was the stakes needed to be lifted. So the stakes are lifted. And essentially this again, this is the left side of the house where we planted the shrubs. So let me see. I can let me get a photo for you quickly if I can find one in the summertime so you can see what the wildflowers look like.
It's great so far, honestly.
Where is the
wildflowers? And I think it might have been before your time. There was actually a 80-year-old garage back where you saw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes. The garage was removed, and that has grown in very nicely. So here's a nice photo. Let me show you. So this is what it looks like in the summertime back there. So this is the wildflowers growing on that used to be lawn. So that is essentially what it looks like in the summertime.
Excellent. So great. Thanks to Walt for showing everyone. So Paul will be in touch, and we'll get everything finally finalized after these years. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, we all do. Thank you very much.
Okay. Night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Then moving up to 31 Springdale. Janet, why don't you fill me in before we have Will?
So we are waiting for a revised restoration plan for the commission's consideration, and also to deal with the DLCT encroachment and violations there. So we have not yet received that. That's in the works. Will indicated he has a separate project that he wants to just preliminarily run by the commission. He's looking to potentially develop a lot next to him. And the first step is to do some septic test pits. But to do that, he needs me to sign off in OpenGov. I was a little concerned about the test pits being in the buffer zone. So Will just wanted to come tonight, run this by the commission. I wanted the commission to be comfortable with my signing off on the test pits.
Okey-doke. Before we do that, Will, I was just as I drive by, because you have the bane of your life is that you're in a very public location. Is there some sort of fenced enclosure to the right of the driveway? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. To the right of like where the garage is?
Yeah, toward a little closer to the street. It looked like there was a U-shaped.
That is the pedestal for the electrical meter. And that was discussed, I don't know, at some point 2 years ago with
Okay,
Janet.
so that's just a two-dimensional thing. It doesn't go. It's not a. It's not
Yeah,
a.
it's just a
Okay.
flat,
Okay.
electrical pedestal.
Okay. So, did you happen to bring a plan to show your proposed?
I do. So I can share here. Okay. Okay. Is that visible to everybody?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry, I've got a permissions issue here. I know I've screenshot. Okay.
There
How's
you
that
go.
look? So
Wrinkly.
the issue was the revised engineering didn't show the trench that had been filled. So we came up with some new engineering, and that showed these 4 test pits. The issue was, as it was initially submitted, the BVW that would, or the 100-foot buffer that would have existed were the trench still there, was not shown on that plan. So to derive that BVW, this is the original plot plan that was made when the septic was done a number of years ago. And in the light teal, that is the figure of the original trench. And then we transposed a 100-foot buffer, and that is what is shown by the red line to the north of the project. And just to kind of confirm that this is an overlay of the LiDAR that shows where the depression was for the trench, just to show
So
kind of where that.
We can see that trench under the LiDAR. When you click off on the what you've drawn on there. So that okay, and so then can you bring us back to a clearer picture?
Yep.
Okay. So then what you're looking at is to get permission to do septic testing outside the buffer. So you have a limited space, given you have a well to the lower right, and then you have a well to the or is that a buffer?
That's a buffer, yeah, to the left.
To the left. So you're threading the needle, and that's basically the only place you can put a septic system.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that septic system would be purportedly to take care of a house that's reached by a driveway along the right side of the lot. Okay. And the potential house location would be where?
It would be, minding, of course, the various, buffer zones situated as far to the top right corner of the lot as possible.
Okay.
And I will, John, just go ahead.
And this lot this right-hand lot has existed for since the 50s or something, or
since 59.
Okay. And so you're going to say?
So I just want to clarify, and whether this is germane to the committee, I don't know, but this is not a proposal to develop this lot. My intention at this time is to use this lot to secure funding. So there's a lender that will extend me some credit, and they want to collateralize this lot. And to collateralize the lot, they need a favorable PERC test. So that is the goal at this time. I and the lender both understand that, just because there was a positive PERC test doesn't really mean from, a conservation perspective that the lot is buildable. And that is not in the scope of what I'd like to accomplish at this time. However, the goal is to PERC this, see how it perks. If it does perk, I can secure that funding and then use that funding to kind of attack the larger restoration project that's still pending.
Okay. Do commissioners, anyone have an issue with this or any questions concerning the perk test component of this that appears to be outside the existing buffer if the trench was still there? Okay. And Janet, I guess, so the initial submission, the engineer had proposed something that was actually inside the buffer, and these have been now moved outside. Does this, I was just going to ask Janet for that. Is that, and so,
Yeah.
is that, so do you see any issues with this?
No, the initial submittal did not take into consideration the location of this intermittent stream that we want to have restored.
Got it.
They were quite a bit further down towards the street. So this is showing they're outside the buffer. Goddard has reviewed this and submitted a letter, which is what we require of any kind of building permit or a perk test. So as long as the commission understands this and is comfortable, I will sign off later this evening on this.
Okay. And then relative to Goddard coming through with the latest iteration of the restoration plan, what's in your discussions with them? What's the time frame?
Yeah, so they said 2 weeks. They, I think through fault of their own, had the wrong contact info for Amy. So they were trying to just kind of touch base with her regarding the DLCT line. But I was just CC'd on an email earlier today with Amy and Goddard. So I know that they have her correct contact information now. So I'll see when she gets back to them and they can touch base and come up with the favorable solution.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? Okay, let's keep following through. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okie doke. So this component, we're actually running a little ahead, which is lovely. We have a land management work group update.
Let's see. So we ordered flea beetles for under 1,000 to be built on this fiscal year to use up our remnant funding after Bill. Rick's been in touch with Minuteman to try and get the carpentry set up for the Leopold benches whenever they're ready. And I am hoping that we can donate them lumber to also use up our budget, but we'll see about that. Our next meeting is in a couple weeks. But more interestingly, we've been having some really good discussions with Bill doing the overview of the properties. He's found some ways of connecting properties into conservation areas that are really interesting. And we're planning on doing a bunch of site walks. So if anyone's interested in joining, I can also send that around
I would love
to
that,
folks.
Anna. You know me.
Great.
There's
like a whole lot. So
yeah, I would love that.
Fantastic. So we're gonna go and have a look.
Is that like lots on Wilsondale or places like that, or where
all over? I went to walk a couple of the CRs, but Haven Street we haven't looked at much at all. We looked a little. He's walked some of Wildwoods and Snow Hill with Greg, but I think we want to go back there. Porter Woodlands is on the list, and then various other little slices around that we sort of haven't seen anytime recently.
I mean, there's, as John, as you know, I mean, there's so many trails that have, I'm not saying that we've lost, but there used to be a whole trail system that has just kind of gone by the wayside.
Well, and I think some equestrian input might be really, would be helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I was also thinking like there are a couple tantalizing parcels on Wilsondale and a couple other locations where they come down to a point and then there's 10 or 20 feet. And then beyond that point is another lot that we own, but you'd have to go through somebody else's property to get there. So I didn't know if that was the type of things you were also running into. Some of them are just really overgrown too, such as one off of Strawberry Hill Street or
Sure.
the one on Haven Street to the right of Kate
Yeah.
Faulkner is really impenetrable. So whatever. Looking
Cool.
forward to what your explorations there.
Sounds good. We're excited. We also have
great, Anna. Thank you.
email survey going out to other landowner and management groups. It's just either set up a meeting, but also just get a take on what everyone thinks. So both municipal and I think the Hunt Club's on the list and a few others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look out for that.
Excellent. Okay, great. Let's see. So when would we find this year? How would we know whether or not the Beatles last year were effective at 46 Springdale?
I think we're going to go out and just sort of eyeball it, but we'll know in the next couple of years. We decided not to buy more flea beetles for Springdale. The new ones are going to Valley Farm. The thinking being the agricultural supply company is like, yeah, this should be straightforward. Just give it a few years. So we wanted to wait. We thought it was going to be too hard to catch the beetles and move them.
Oh.
So we bought more.
Does Rick have a drone, or do you have a drone, or anybody new? So it may not be a bad idea if on the same date for the next few years running, to do a snapshot. And
that's a great idea.
And when they typically flower, so that we could actually be able to compare that. So
we could also do it on release day for the Beatles. Yeah, there will be a Beatle release day in July, by the way, and everyone's welcome to come.
Mm-hmm. So great. Anything else?
I think that's it, Janet, unless I missed something. Oh, actually, sustainability. I'll send this around for next meeting. Sustainability committee wants to do a municipal planting policy. So that's neither here nor there.
And did I see something coming up relative to, let me see, I don't know if it's on Janet's list here. Is it going to be some sort of public discussion relative to the proposed upcoming tree bylaw?
I think so. I got that email today as well.
That's June 8th. That's going to be virtual, June 8th. That's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we'll get this out to everyone. Yeah.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. And Janet, you're on that committee, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So when it was first getting started, it seemed like there was a lot of looking at other towns' tree bylaws, and what I noticed was there was like a ground zero for tree bylaws. I forget which town started it, and then as it spread through other towns, certain towns got more and more restrictive. And do you know how it's appearing for Dover? Are they being realistic about things, or not that I expect you to say no, but
so that's this is sort of a listening session to get feedback from residents and also developers. But I think the approach is going to be to try to prevent large lot clear cutting. So it would be for either tear downs, new development, or substantial expansion. We don't want every homeowner to feel threatened, like, oh, you're not going to let me touch a hazard tree. So keeping it simple and straightforward is our approach.
Okay. Good. Looking forward to it. Let's see. Then the landing. Go ahead.
So under land management, our conservation land regulations and rules, which we heard from our last meeting. Those, I think I sent those out separately, and they're also in my regulatory review report. But that's something Bill wants to include in his land management plan.
Yes, thank you. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, and have commissioners had a chance to review that?
I mean, I have, but that's just me.
I did as well. I mean, we voted on them. So Janet, you were on the board at the time?
I was on the board, and these.
Okay, but not as the consulting agent.
That's right.
Yeah. So and we had voted for that.
Yes.
And they're all pretty common sense. I didn't see anything terribly restrictive, but it's something that's, clearly make people aware of.
I can share my screen if anyone wants to look at them now.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So the gist of it is dawn to dusk or sun up, sundown. No motor vehicles. You can hunt and fish according to the laws, but you can't do your own trapping. You can't mess with wildlife. No controlled substance. You can't dump things. Got to follow the leash law, but aware of its carve outs. I don't expect us to proactively enforce this, run around patrolling, but I do think that it is the new law, so people should generally follow it, though good luck to them figuring out where the parcels start and stop. This one, rules for other pets. We were talking in our meeting and realized there are some folks who walk cats and other animals that are not dogs that should be controlled in whatever is appropriate for that animal.
The Monty Python rabbit came to mind.
That's
but,
so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Okay.
Can't cut things. You can't have firewood unless we say it's okay. No vandalism. We said you can camp if you get a permit. I don't honestly know how we would issue those permits, but I do think we should give the option. I think trustees has the same sort of thing, and if someone comes to us and like, the thing I want to do is camp in wild woods, we can roll with it then.
Yeah, which would obviously lead you to number 13 immediately.
Yep.
So that may need a series of subheadings, 12A, 12B, 12C. But we'll cross that when we have that person. And also trustees may be obviously the first place to look in terms of how they handle that.
Yeah. That was the gist of it. I think, Janet, one thing that's missing we talked about that I think we as a group should talk about is should we explicitly state that equestrians have right of way? That is the rule on trails in general, regardless of what we say. But I do think it would be a nice thing to just iron out because we have had discussions about that. Leave the hikers and cyclists to sort themselves out, but just clearly say equestrians should have right away in case anyone does look it up or their LLM search looks it up for them and can call it out.
Where under what number would you where do you see putting something like that?
I would kind of think toward putting it maybe before dogs, somewhere around here with animals, but we could put it up with vehicles if that seems more appropriate. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we may have to just renumber and make it
Yeah.
have it be a standout.
That's what I was thinking, John. Like just a separate number.
So the question I have relative to bicycles. So when this was originally done, there were no electric motors for bicycles out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not averse to, I forget exactly, we'll have to look it up, but there are 3 tiers of electric bike power.
Yep.
And the tier 1 is it requires pedals. All it does is augment your power by pedaling.
Yeah, the pedal assist ones.
And it tops out at 18 miles an hour. Anything beyond that should not be allowed, as far as I'm concerned. And certain towns have, I believe even some towns like Wellesley on their trails and Needham, I think, spell it out very clearly. So they've done the homework on that. I think that's something we would want to have, we would amend these with, and I think it'd be a pretty quick vote. But I think that's, if we're going to allow bikes, because years ago, bikes weren't even allowed.
Some of the CRs still banned it. We debated this extensively because Rick, Greg, and I all mountain bike and wanted to see pedal assist class 1s okay. But some of the CRs that exist, especially Wildwoods, technically ban it. So we were concerned about the conflict with those. That was where we got stuck.
Yeah, so we may still get stuck on it, but I think maybe putting if we put up any signs, Wildwoods was a surprise when it went through, and I don't know who has the ability to change that. I don't know if we have it or, you know, what that is. Maybe we can look into that. But at the very least, I think it's something that should be addressed so that we have some control, as small as it might be, you know, to avoid the faster bikes in there and bozos. So
Do we maybe add one that explicitly bans the ones we know we won't want? No motorized vehicles and no like class 2 or 3 or whatever they're called bikes to call it
yeah,
out.
or maybe something like, you know, if where bikes are permitted, they're limited to, and
That
that
works
way
for
we're
me.
defining that. So yeah, so I think that's and Bill's not going to be done when's Bill thinks he's going to be ready for something to be voted on relative to the management plan.
End of June.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm sure we can address that if we can just work those up, and I'll see if I have I believe I took some pictures of some of the signs I saw relative to level 2 and 3 and so forth. So
Good.
yeah, as a matter of fact, I just saw a public service Facebook post for a particular town. I think it was near the water where it showed a picture of basically an electric motorbike, and it said, "Parents, this is not a bicycle. This is
Well, there's a
this is a
law.
motor."
There's a
Mhm.
law we're all supposed to vote on about this at the state level for regular. Should the heavier duty mountain bikes or
For
heavier duty
for
bikes,
license.
yeah, require a license?
Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
let me just confirm. So we're adding a new number 3. Is it 3? Well, I'll figure it out. But the addition is equestrians have the right of way on all conservation land trails.
Why don't we just say all trails? Because that really is the law.
But there are other trails in town that we don't have jurisdiction over.
That's true,
Yeah,
but the state still says equestrians have right of way. Isn't that correct, Sarah?
Yes.
Is that yeah?
Yes.
So
So it's right. I would just, and no one's going to fight it.
yeah, I think that's it. The idea of just making it clear, we don't have to limit it to that. We'll just, you know, it is a state regulation, so we just say on all trails.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like the vagueness too, because I can imagine someone being like, oh, well, it's a single tracked narrow trail. That's a conservation trail. This is a 12-foot wide thing that looks like a road. That's not a trail. And that's not a conservation trail. It's something like that. That distinction doesn't exist.
Yeah, it really doesn't though. You know, Fire Road is still viewed as trails. You know,
Yeah.
great, you're gonna have some person arguing, but then you run them over with a horse. But so, but the no, I think just making it clear that and maybe we don't even use the word trail that if that's a concern or trails of any size. You know that
Well,
but you know,
what is the rule? And I should know this, but like I always was taught that horses always had the right of way before anyone.
mhm.
My understanding too. It's like you
So
driving
I
a car,
think,
you yield to horses.
right. So I think can we just say that? Like horses
Yep.
have the right of way.
Yeah, that's
Works for me.
that's what I'm thinking is that's
Right. It just
Mhm.
and don't do a reason.
Mhm.
Just
Yep.
horses have the right of way
In all circumstances.
in all
Basically,
circumstances.
just
Right.
to emphasize it.
Right.
So, okay. Jen, you said there was a second one? You're
Janet's
muted.
on mute, but this is we were talking about banning the like extra large motorized bikes. Not saying anything about class 1s that we don't know whether they're allowed, but saying that the 2 and up, like you absolutely
Right.
those count as motorized vehicles.
Someone, I'm not an expert in that area, so if someone wanted to send me some language.
Yeah, I'll look up what other towns have done.
Okay, and then do we want to take a vote on this?
I think we wanted to get our wording a little bit wordsmith. So since we're just reviewing this, why don't we? Anna's going to look at one part of it. I'll look at the other part, and maybe at the next meeting we can do that.
Okay.
That work for Bill, or do we need to like go faster?
Run it by him to see if he.
Okay.
And he's also maybe familiar with the way some of the wording on is in other towns. So, you know, let him work for his money. So,
He's doing a great job. We're having
yeah,
a great
no,
time
no,
with him.
I can see. I know. So let's see. Uh, then let's see. I'm looking at the land management, land encroachments, and restriction compliance. So we have 165 Center Street. That Deb, that letter got sent out, correct? Oh, you're muted as well.
Yes, it did, John. That went out better than 2 weeks ago.
And was that sent certified?
No, no, at
Okay.
the last meeting, we said maybe if we didn't hear anything in a certain amount of time, that I would
Okay.
send it certified.
And you have not heard anything? Is that
I have
correct?
not heard it.
Okay, then let's send a copy of that out certified. Okay.
And I'll just make a little notation in it that says, it sent a previous letter to you.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just
Mhm.
making sure that you're in receipt of that.
Yep. Okay. And then 2 Hunt Drive, who is familiar with that possible encroachment?
So at the last meeting, or the last couple of meetings, John, you were going to do some research of the file to see
Oh, that's right. That's the one down on the corner there. Right, right.
if we
Yeah.
had a surveyed plot plan or.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so as we I don't know if anyone has stopped by the office, the new office, but Deb has done a phenomenal amount of work of refiling and organizing and so forth. And so at this point, we should be close to being able to look up and see if there's anything that we can find. And I'll also look on the registry there.
Yeah, I'll try to get things a bit in order. And this might be a good time to tell everybody that I've studied, and we are able to get a nice 93-inch long table to one side. It's about 24 inches in depth, like a counter. It will be supported. And I think this would be a great opportunity for commissioners. Don't just look at me as being the one, oh, here you go, you've got to sign. Rather, perhaps there's enough space for sure to be able to really pull out something that you might want to see and that you might want to spend a little time, all of you collectively, reading.
I love the idea of a work table. This sounds great.
Okay.
I'm not in very often, but I love it.
And is that something that's floating around the town hall that can be repurposed, or are you talking about ordering one?
Yeah, ordering it.
Oh, okay.
And I do have the quote for it. And the other planning and health and human resources have all gotten a similar kind of table. And I observed that it is utilized very well. And I think we all benefit by it. I really do.
Okay.
So I can
and you think
send you the specs on that, John.
So would you? Yeah, that'd be great. And so we currently have a circular table there. Would you dispose of that and just?
I would keep that because
Oh, you would?
I think that's great for people coming in who just want to, the public just wanting to sit. And I have had a fair amount of people doing that. But this other table is big enough because it's sort of near my desk. So I could just turn my chair around and, we could actually have 3 of us on this table.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great expansion.
And how much is it?
It is $350 or $45.
And other offices have it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
okay.
specifically went to Chris today. I said, do you think this is a wise use of our, let's see, line item, other capital outlay, new equipment? And he said,
And what's our budget? Is that normally $1,000, or what's our budget for that?
Yeah, we still have $1,000 for that.
Okay. I'm perfectly okay to entertain a motion if somebody wants to,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the line item of the new table that Deb is suggesting.
Second.
okay. All in favor? Zega?
Aye. Oh, sorry.
No, Sarah? No, Sarah. That was Sarah. Zega?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So that was to purchase that table. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just to clarify. Okay. Okay. Next thing, if did people have a chance to review Janet's contract?
Yes, and I think it's great.
Okay. So I think actually if we accept it exactly as it's written, I'm absolutely in favor of it. Because it says it's $65,000 a year. But,
I think we might want to up that as discussed
Right.
at town
Janet,
meeting.
But
yeah,
Janet
so
needs
Janet,
to-
on
that's his point.
the one, Janet, so the one that came up with me was the older one. Did you come up with a one that or we can just amend this amount?
So I
to
sent out in that one email, which I sent out, let me see, on the 19th.
Oh, do you do both?
Yes, I sent both. I sent the amendment, which reflects the new number, 120. But I also attached my original contract, just so everyone could see the original.
Oh, okay. For some reason I clicked on something and I just got the original. So that was sent out when?
On the 19th.
On the 19th. Oops.
Janet, that's the one from July 2022. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Okay.
no, it was May 19th. I sent out it was two attachments. One is the amendment to vote on tonight to be signed, and that amends the original contract, which I also sent out.
Okay. So I think what I had up was the original. And let's see, is the amendment JB Doc 1?
Well, there were just two, so
Well, I'm pulling that one up. So that looks like the original. So let me go back to the other one.
The other one says fiscal year 2027 contract renewal.
Yeah,
And-
no, I was looking for the title so I could find the on my email. But I did find that. So let me just take a look at it there.
The one I have, at least in my email, was from 2022 when we signed it.
Right. So no, I think the original that Janet had sent out was what is that date? Let me just see. We signed it. Yeah, 2022.
2022, that's the one
So
that sent to us.
Yep. No. And then yeah, and then there was Janet's right on the 19th. There was it was sent out, and let me just see what it was called. It says ComCom. It looks like ComCom Age, but it's a 69 kilobyte small file.
That's I believe that's if I click on that, that's the one that it says that we've signed 2022.
Oh,
But there's
is
like
that-
a little asterisk in it next to the 65,000, and then when you look at the document that I just shared, you'll see where it says 120,000 with a little asterisk. So I think that's
Yeah.
what's connecting the two things.
Right.
If
So
I understand
basically,
it right.
Yeah.
So what this is it's the contract renewal and amendment. And so basically, let me just review what it said, if it makes reference to. Okay, it amends the existing original contract, which is what we saw from 2022, to provide annual compensation in the amount of $120,000. And it extends all the provisions that were outlined in that, which gives what Janet's, what her scope of work is. And Janet, none of that was changed. So that's identical to what it was in 2022.
that's right.
Okay. And it does it for fiscal year. And then question, Janet, so we spoke at some point earlier this year. So is it this coming fiscal year that you're looking at being your last fiscal year, or were you looking at potentially retiring before it's finished, or what's your
Oh,
what's
I'm
your thought process?
specific. I think it's still a couple years away, but
Okay.
not this year.
Um,
It's not going to be this fiscal year or probably the next, but in the near future.
mhm, mhm.
There are just too many variables for me to say definitely when.
No, I just didn't know if you had if you were one of those people who had your entire retirement scoped out for you and knew exactly what you're going to do. So
Does anyone have that? Anyone?
well, that's why I'm kind of a little
Well,
tongue in cheek
she
there.
already retired from Wellesley and then she came back to us.
Right.
So
The yeah. So given all that, and and um, and then let's see. Okay, so the only thing we don't have on that, we probably may need to get a signature page for the selectmen as well.
No, because when my original contract was approved,
Uh-huh.
I had this in my cover memo. The selectmen clearly stated that the Conservation Commission has legal state authority to issue and approve their own contracts.
Interesting. Okay. Um, was that sent out that was prior to the 19th, is that right?
No, so if you look at my email message, the original message,
Oh, on the 19th?
yes,
Oh, let me see.
I referenced the Board of Selectmen's that that confirmation from them.
Oh, and that's noted, is that noted in the original contract from 2022? Or
No.
was that under a different cover?
So the contract was written before it went to the selectmen for their signature, but at that meeting, I believe in my May 19th email,
Yeah.
the message itself references the Concom's authority to issue its own contracts, just like we did with Bill for our land management plan.
yeah,
Mhm.
you say that. So in the May 19th email that you sent, in order to renew my contract, we will need to vote to review and approve the attached renewal.
So it says no further approvals are needed for the contract renewal
Yes.
by the minutes
And
of
she
the.
said, for full transparency, I've attached to your information a complete copy of my current.
Right, but that doesn't reference the apparently in the minutes when the selectmen signed that original contract, that Mr. Dwelly had pointed out that the bylaws give us the ability to enter directly into contracts, which
But
was.
at
Go
the
ahead.
top of that paragraph, so under contract, if you look at the original contract under item number 3, it says under terms that the Conservation Commission can enter into 1-year renewals upon written agreement between just the commission and myself.
Subject to that. Okay. So now it also brings us to the point of as any contract, this one now fully funds it doesn't fund, it funds your run rate up until this year. This year, we've exceeded that. So are you saying that we still have we have no protection about if you exceed $120,000 in the fourth quarter of next fiscal year?
That's right. I mean, and we'll get to that and when we talk about our budget numbers in just a minute. But my goal is to not exceed that. I'm going to track that very carefully. You all get my invoices monthly. I'm going to do everything possible to stay within that. That is the absolute intent. We have a number of large filings, NOI filings. I'm going to recommend that those be peer reviewed. So,
And then I noticed the last few weeks of emails back and forth between some people, like for example at 14 Meadowbrook.
yeah.
That seemed to be, given that is there an engineer actually involved in that?
No, it's Karen Skinner who,
Okay, but no engineer per se. There just seemed to be an awful lot of emails going back and forth, which is extra time on your part, with them
yes,
not coming up with, basically not being professional and basically, being able to run through this with one or two emails.
yeah,
Is that correct? Am
yeah.
I reading that
There
right?
there are certain consultants, some engineers, but mostly wetland consultants, two or three,
Hmm.
that submit incomplete applications. And
Hmm.
so, I have to follow up and say, I need X, Y, and Z from you. And it's like
Hmm.
pulling teeth. It's the
No.
same.
And we know, I mean, Janet, this is my 9th year, and I mean, John's been on this for more times 3. We all know who those culprits are. So, but they still, they, we
Well, some
don't.
of them, some of them are newer, and it's at least in this go around or here where we heard the person tonight saying that, well, he couldn't even issue a letter requesting a continuance because he had to talk to Karen, and so there's no prime mover, on that, and it's something we should, although that's a rare occasion, but it's certainly something that we should point out to people on things. But yeah, I think that's one of the things to sort of track, Janet, because if we do need any additional funds, we have it, we can point directly to that. But also you'd mentioned before, and we've discussed, looking at the things that we think are going to be time consuming and requiring an outside consultant for peer review. And I think a decision to move enforcement over to that as well.
Can I ask a silly question? I should probably know this, but like, so Janet, and I should probably, and I apologize because I've been on the commission for this long, but when you said you're gonna bounce things over to, let's say, third review, meaning Paul, do we have a budget for that? Or is that what you're raising concern for, Janet? Like, so do we have is our main budget one
No, we
number?
we the point of that is that we don't have the budget to go over, but if we send it to a peer review, then the applicant has to pay the peer review person.
But does that happen? I guess that's
Oh
my
yeah, oh no,
question.
it
Oh, it
absolutely
does
happens.
happen? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the only
I've
question I
never,
had, yeah, so for example, it generally happens without question,
okay,
because Paul's
good.
very fair, he's and so forth, and people recognize his expertise and so forth. The only issue it came up with at one point, which was Red Robin, which is somewhere, and Jan, you can jump in terms of where that somewhere is. The concept of using outside peer reviewers had a dollar limit of $5,000 because that is something that is at least 25 years old. So and nothing was adjusted for inflation or anything. Am I correct in that, Janet?
Um, I'd have to go back and look really closely at the bylaw, but
I think, and that because I think that's just something Paul McGovern had brought up, and that said, but I'll go ahead and comply. And I think Patrick Corrigan had brought it up relative to made an allusion to it on one of the things on Haven Terrace there. But Mike, that may be something that we want to propose a change to the bylaw. If it's I assume that's what I think it's a bylaw. It's not a regulation, it's an actual bylaw in order to have that sort of effect. Is that correct?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I can imagine the presentation at town meeting would be that we want to make it clear this is not for the average homeowner, that this is for developers. This is generally for people who are profiting from something that, or they're doing a very large project that is pushing the envelope in terms of its sophistication, even if it's on an existing lot or a grandfathered lot. And and we basically need outside help. And part of where we came to that decision a number of years ago was when Janet first started consulting. Janet was billing everybody for her services, so that we had a lower budget because we could get that paid for directly by homeowners. Town council brought it to our attention that regardless of Janet being a consultant, the level of her consultancy makes her in essence a special town employee, at which point the town is not allowed to go ahead and bill people for those services, but a peer review consultant can. And so that's the evolution of that. And I think as we move forward to this upcoming year, we'll just be a little bit more, I don't even want to say consistent. We're just going to direct things that way so that that it gives us an ability to be more efficient on our own within the office and within Janet's purview. So,
Do you think, John, now that we talk about this, when we went to town meeting 4 years ago to try to get the buffer zone expanded, we
Yep.
also proposed changing and not having a limit. I believe that limit was removed. I'll have to check my documents here are older. I'll check the
Yeah.
town
Yeah,
website.
if you can do that, that'd be great to know. I just wanted to make sure because as we move forward trying to do things correctly. And that was the one town meeting I've missed in 30 years. And so I saw the video where things kind of went a little south there, and I wasn't really sure what got the pushback was surprising from developers, imagine. Anyway, yeah, let's look into that because I want to be able, if that still in effect, then I think it's something that we would want to bring forward and then craft the presentation so that it's very clear that it doesn't deal with average homeowners.
Right, right. And keep in mind, so Paul's hourly rate is more than twice mine. So that up pretty quickly. Yeah.
It does, but the things he's been doing, they have not been, partly because he doesn't have as an outside consultant, it just seems like and he's also dealing with engineers who know of him and so forth. They're just, I don't know why, but I don't find his rates, his net costs being unreasonable. Very often they're in the between $2,000 and $3,000. Unless you get into something like Red Robin. And so he manages somehow to deal with it efficiently there. And he doesn't have to provide a lot of education services to the applicant because he's dealing with directly with their engineers. So that's a little bit of a mystery that I haven't parsed yet. But I think given his expertise and his reputation in the industry, I think he's actually pretty reasonably priced for people. We'll look into that. So what we have in front of us tonight is the amendment of the 2022 contract. And the amendment is what we're looking to vote on tonight. That would bring Janet's contract into line with what was approved at the town meeting for the consulting agent services. I'll entertain a motion to vote on that. Anyone? So that was my first.
I move to make a motion to approve I guess the commission's
the consulting services contract.
Consulting service. Sorry, Tim, we miss you. I move to approve the commission's
how about if I can do it and you can
you
say
can do
so
it.
moved?
Yeah, that's actually even better.
Okay.
Thank
No,
you,
because I
John.
remember when I was on the first few that I had to do, it was like,
oh, I'm
yeah,
like
it's stymieing. So there's a motion before the commission to renew the fiscal year 2027 contract and amendment agreement for consulting conservation agent services between the Dover Conservation Commission and Janet Harkey Bowser in the amount of $120,000, which tracks with the funding that was approved at this year's town meeting.
I
So,
second that.
no, anyone want to so move? I can't make the actual motion.
Oh, I move. I so move.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Zega?
You're on
You're
mute.
muted.
Aye.
Okay. Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. So just swing by and sign this. Deb will send things out for when things are ready. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Speaking of that, just so you guys know, I don't know if you saw my email. Deb has moved across the corridor.
Yes.
So her office is not in the same. I kept going to her old office. So she's in a beautiful new office across the way. Just so you guys know.
We should all use it because it's not just my office, it's the commission.
No, I know, but
yeah, but it is.
I kept running in and like the door was locked and I'm like, oh,
where is she? She's across the way.
Right, just across the way.
Well, now I have a big sign on the door, conservation.
Good, perfect.
Yeah.
So sorry, John. I didn't.
Oh, no, no worries. I'm trying
business.
to, whoops. Oh, there we go. I got it. Let me, I'm going to share my screen because the next thing that we have is our ledger to deal with a review of our operating budget report that looks like Deb was able to get out of things. Let's see if there we go. Okay, so let me get back into Zoom, see if I can share this. Thank you. And boop, boop, boop. Okay, has anybody see that?
I can see it.
Okay, now we have to explain it. Let me see if I can get it to shrink. Whoops, they're a little too small. For the younger folks can see that, but so Deb, you sent this along because Janet, did you put this on the agenda?
I did. I just thought it was important for the commission, well, and for us to see sort of where we are with our operating budget. And I did a quick math, and Bill is going to be getting all of his invoices. We expect to draw down on most of the land management and trail expenses. That's a total of 40. The plan was 25, and I know Anna's working hard to spend the rest of those funds on needed things, but we don't want to leave too much on the table because that's a big red flag to our finance committee. But I did a quick math, and it looks like we're sitting on at least 13,000 that we're not going to spend this year. And
where is that coming from?
If you go back to the top,
yeah,
and we need a fuller screen here. We need to see allocated net activity and ending. We need to.
So let me yeah, when I go a little fuller screen. Okay, can people see that? Depending on the screens you have, I guess.
Yep. No, I can see it.
Okay, because I'm looking at
small,
it.
but we can see it.
Okay.
So I just say that because you saw that our reserve fund transfer request went in, and as we get closer to the end of the year, so there are two buckets. There's salary, which is just Deborah, but also the seasonal person we were going to hire to do minutes, and we haven't spent much of that. So there's two.
Well, we were basically we're enjoined. We're not allowed to spend it. I tried to move that over, or even to use it to cover some of Deb's. Right now, Deb is putting in for some comp time because her average hours are running more than what her contract is for, and And I was told that that was only to be used on a temporary worker. So we couldn't give it to Deb, and we can't really move it to anything else. So all we can do we use it for is leverage. We can talk up the fact that Deb was able to do a lot of that work, but that's also why she's taking the comp time that she's taking, which comes very close to sort of comping out with that.
Yeah.
But that's a number that we can't really utilize.
So my suggestion, that was for our minutes clerk, it was Dale. So
Yeah.
we have another month. If John, if you could reach out to her, say, hey, we have this amount of money. Can you start working on minutes? Do you have 20 hours or 25 hours a week to try to get through some of our backlog?
Well, I think Deb, where are we relative to our minutes? We don't have that many left to catch up on, do we?
John, we have 2 years worth, at least 2 years.
I don't believe that's the case. Is it, Deb?
Yes.
Because, well, I don't know. All right. All I know is I was working, I think Dale did most of her work from the 2024.
Yeah.
So I was pretty concentrated on end of 24 and 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, where are you relative to 2025?
In 2025, we got, let's see, and there were some sprinklings for whatever the reasons, certain projects. So you'll see a little bit ahead than not, but I think we're,
you can check it on the web. All you need to.
Yeah, I know. I do know.
It's about 2 years. I just checked it. It's going back into 2023, about half of 2023. We have no minutes. Most of 2024 and most of 2025.
So my question is, we paid refresh my memory, the name of the person who was doing the minutes?
Dale.
Okay. I thought she had done at least a half year's worth of stuff.
No, it wasn't that much.
Do you think
it was?
And they were submitted. I'm guessing they were submitted because I remember a December date from her. It was the end of Laurie's time, and
that just it somehow she was on track for a while.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, she was listening to the meetings and typing from the YouTube recordings, and it was painstaking. And honestly, I spent probably 2 or 3 hours per set of minute editing.
Okay. Well, so let's tell you what, Deb, you and I will discuss this. Frankly, if that's the way it was with her, I don't see a reason to bring her back, because if it was taking that much time, Deb's minutes have been excellent. And so let's deal with that. Right at the moment, we'll see where we actually were. And it may be that Dale had represented to Lori that she was caught up through 2024, but missed 2023. So we'll have to figure out, we'll go through and see what we actually have for minutes. So let's table that. Moving on, out of our trail maintenance, our $30,000. Explain to me, it's not really clear to me where it says we were allocated $30,000. The net activity is 5,500, and it's saying we're ending with 24,000, and that seems to be at odds with what we've discussed the last few.
John, because we haven't not gotten the invoices yet from Bill doing the land management plan. That'll be 24,000.
Okay, so that will zero out.
Right.
Roughly. Okay. Then what we have is on professional services, we had a budget of 88. And then the minus 86 is where we're in essence doubling that. Or no, that we took, okay, we used, so we spent that much, we only have 1,900 left, plus what we're looking to get for the interdepartmental transfer.
Right.
Okay. Then advertising, interesting. It's saying we have a budget, but is that because we get credit for the checks we get for advertising, or it seems like we've done more than just 8 advertisements for the fiscal year?
Yeah, sure.
we should find out what, what that is. But relative to what we can do, then we have land service, land management. That's also being used for Bill.
No,
Is
so we're, as Anna explained, we're there, she's looking into the beetles, benches, lumber, other stuff that we hope to draw down most of that.
Okay. So basically the 30,000, the balance we have within trail maintenance, it seems we've done a fair amount of trail maintenance this year, but a lot of it was volunteer. So Anna,
Yeah, we didn't end up needing to build a whole lot of new stuff this year. That's why we're trying to do the lumber for the benches and stuff. We've bought some lumber. We'll need to buy a little bit more, maybe a couple thousand, but we can't come up with that many lumber projects just yet.
Right. So much of the bog bridges and things of that sort, and the cutting that Jay did and all that, at the end of the day, we spent less than $6,000 on this fiscal year. Some of that may have been purchased the previous year.
Some of it was purchased the previous year. Some of it we're still planning on buying in June. I can grab what we estimated. It's a few thousand. We didn't want to do another large bog bridge. We wanted to buy some decking for the ones that we're working on for Springdale and some additional lumber for like low flat bog bridges, just because of the time to build it.
Right.
What about signage?
I think we've been working on
We've bought some.
Well, some of it did, yeah.
Next up on my list is things like the right-of-way triangle for equestrians, but it's hard for us to run up that much money in signage right now. We just aren't hanging that many signs.
And so the $10,000 for management planning is in essence would be for Bill, and then another 14 of that would come out of our trail maintenance, which would be for Bill. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here is roughly $24,000 in trail maintenance, plus another 10 for that, and Bill's going to take 24 out of that, and so we're saying we actually have another $10,000 ballpark left. Is that right, Janet?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Okay, for some reason things seemed more dire a couple months ago when we went over this, and this is very helpful having the ledger right in front of us. And also it was difficult to get the ledger for a little bit from town. Okay, so are there any other and we can still go for the same budget next year with because we will have spent money on Bill, and this may give us I don't think this is going to be taken away from us, because we can, as we look at opening up more trails and more maintenance, I think we can vouch for that.
Hopefully, one of the things we're asking Bill to provide is like and sort of the main efforts is the top priorities for smaller land management plans to do. So like what properties are like most have the most stuff going on that need planning. And we were also talking about just sort of maybe we don't need a plan, but we need an invasive species plan. And where would we be doing those? So we're expecting more planning work to come from the project with Bill. That's kind of the whole goal. But I don't know how much those are going to be because we're not quite sure what's our top priority yet.
Okay. So as far as I know, we still got the same budget. We actually may have. Did we get a bump on our trail maintenance of $5,000 this year?
But I think it was continued. We got it last year and it was continued to this year.
Okay, so that 30,000 is in error, apparently. As we move down this, wetlands protection, UFB, is that the fees that come in for application?
No.
Yeah,
Deborah.
I believe it is, because that's the designation.
Okay, no, good. So I just want to make sure because we were always, and then as we move down there, we have some of the trust funds. We've tried to get these numbers for years, so it's great to see them here. But we have one is the I don't know what that gift is, that Don Conservation Fund. Does anyone know what that stands for?
Well, it's gift/donation. That's an abbreviation. Nation, but I don't know what that is. It's not the conservation fund because that's lower down.
No, I'm
Weren't
looking.
we donated some? Didn't the Friars donate land? Maybe someone's porting that forward.
Well, that's it. There are a couple out there. There's Adams. We have a trust fund on. There are a couple of trust funds out there, and maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe those on actually here. So that's why I want to go through these row by row and try, and we'll have to look up some of the ones that are not clear. Um, so and I think there might even be a Chickering fund that we've used before. So some of those we could use, and we exhausted many of them with Janet's fees, in years prior before we turned to the town because we had exhausted them. So then I have these review fees, and this I'm a little concerned here. I'm trying to figure this one out. So Haven Manor, I'm assuming these are the fees that we had for our peer review.
Yes, that's what that.
Okay. And I know, so I believe Paul has been paid. And if this was, but the question I have here is this is showing us as if we still have a balance. So, and the same with Red Robin, and Pagan Lane. So I think we may want to get some clarification on that, Deb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. 10 Draper Road, I recall that, but
5 cents.
Yeah, that was that took 30 seconds of his time. No, I don't know. So so this also gives us, this is something we've been doing for a few years. So I think we want to have a half a file drawer that's dedicated to peer review things so that we can easily see what we have on an ongoing basis so that we don't have to depend on this, because here we want to find out. I believe Paul was paid on these things. We want to find out that actually happened. Let's see. Then we have Miller Hill, same sort of situation. It's
But that's
well,
that's
so when I look at so it says what was allocated was that amount. So it's carrying a negative number on that one, as if that went out. And it's interesting on the other ones, it's showing positive numbers, but there's zero. Oh no, they're not a variation. That's why I thought we were getting a net balance there. So there's something I'm not comprehending relative to the accounting, the way this is appearing. So if we can find that out, that would be helpful.
Actually, I'm working with Mr. Mallet. Is that his name?
Yeah.
For the past 2 weeks, he wanted to see all checks. He wanted to see, how they were used. I produced all that. So the ball is in his court, and he has an invoice due to Paul in the amount of $638. So this account needs to be, replenished.
Well, that's so I'm not clear. For example, the allocation would come from generally either the specific nature of that allocation. Paul's proposals deal with round numbers, and they have a range, and then they put money in, and then he takes, he submits invoices, and that would change. So this, I'm assuming that what we're seeing for the negative 8,867 is that those are based on invoices, which created an allocation.
Yeah.
What I'm not seeing is that, that's I'm not seeing that he actually got paid. So I'm assuming those negative numbers are things that are outstanding, and yet I'm sure Paul would have notified us if he hadn't gotten paid yet.
Yeah, Paul did get paid. The thing that's outstanding now, and it's a more recent invoice,
Yep.
Is that 638.
So does it seem in your review of that, I assume Mr. Malik gets invoices as well as his neighbor there?
No.
Is Mr. Malik the primary person?
Yes, he is the primary. At first it was the lawyer,
Right,
attorney
Peter Brooks. Yeah.
Brooks, right.
Okay,
And
so in your discussion up to date with him, does this 8,800 figure seem familiar based on your review of things?
what I reviewed was pretty close to it. was
Okay.
like 7,000 and something or other.
Okay.
Now it's,
Okay.
he's saying, oh, I just submitted 5,000, but
Okay. Well,
I submitted everything to him in copy.
okay.
So
Okay. Let's just figure out, and maybe this is, but also I'm curious where how the town is getting this number.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's, and I've seen that on a couple of others here.
Yeah, because the town's not showing any activity there. So, those are zeroing it out under net activity. So that, we should figure out why that's happening.
Yeah.
Then as I make our way all the way down to the bottom, so then we see with Red Robin and below, we see some of the, uh, the net activity and then the ending. So that actually makes it look like, since they're not negative numbers, whether that net activity is positive balances.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. It's sort of inconsistent because the first line should have an allocation.
Right. Well, and I can understand when we have a proposal that says between 2,000 and 2,800, so the net activity might be that's the money that goes in as a deposit, but then there should be, or a payment, but we should be zeroing out on some of these.
Right. And those are pretty high amounts, I would say.
And then the other question I have is this UFB Conservation Fund. Oh, that's our land purchasing fund. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then let me just move down here. So same thing. We have some and these, I'm not sure what these are because they're performance oriented, but they don't say peer review.
Oh.
And
Well,
have you?
Let me look, because there are some files, and my idea is have these not just shoved in a drawer, but divided in somewhere where we easily access them and have them all together. And I can't say that I've seen yet, but there's a lot of things I have to see. And I think that performance business is part of what I have to see.
Okay, let's, Janet, do you have these last three? Any of that look familiar?
I don't know.
Or
so
any commissioners?
Yeah, Farm Street, Zero Farm, Paul just took on.
Right.
I'm thinking that might be the Zero Farm. He was working on the.
Okay.
But Strawberry Hill, I did all the technical review on that permit. That's Strawberry Hill Equestrian Facility.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. And then Dedham Street, I don't know.
Okay, so let's see if Deb, if you can find out what the town, where those numbers came from in the town, and also try to get them to figure out what's going on with moving minus signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think basically in terms of our review for the balance of the fiscal year, what we're realizing is we may actually have we have a little bit more flexibility in some of our spending for trail maintenance that we actually had kind of tightened up on for a little bit, but it looks like we may have over tightened and we actually have some money left. So Anna, if there's anything else that you can bring up at the next meeting that we that we may want to close out before the end of the year, please let us know.
Yep, that sounds good. I think it'll be flea beetles and lumber and possibly some odds and ends at Medway Lumber, fasteners and things like that. Might be some PVC as well, but I'll check with everybody and email that back to you and Deb after the meeting.
Okay, and Deb, I think on a housekeeping basis by the June 24th meeting, we'll want to be we'll have a motion to pay those bills.
Yeah.
Okay, and
quite a few.
Okay. Great. Then let me figure out how I can get out of this. I brought my taskbar up again. Excuse me. Okey-doke. Is that still screen sharing by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay,
still have.
sorry about this. Let's see if we can get this out of here. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Last we have is Janet's agent update.
Right. I did want, so while we're talking about peer review, I just wanted to circle back on 4 Haven Terrace. Deb, if you could reach out to Paul and let him know that the commission voted to hire him to do a peer review of the COC.
Okay.
And if you can send him the COC documents and he can get us a proposal.
Okay.
And then we can have the owner put that in escrow.
Okay. And also if you could have Paul call the owner just to coordinate.
So update a couple things. You saw my email about the Trout Brook Edgewater NOIs that have come in for our June 24th meeting. Seems to be some dispute over whether they've jumped the gun on this because the town still has an appeal of the 40B ZBA denial. So we're waiting to hear back from town council on that.
Okay, great.
And that's again, those are 4 highly constrained sites. They have 3 types of wetlands, floodplain, and significant stormwater issues. So that I would recommend all those 4 NOIs be peer reviewed by Paul.
Yep.
Once those
Absolutely.
Well, I've got to tell you, Janet, Paul came in today and I pointed him to that direction. And he said, oh, yeah, I'd be happy to work on it if that's the way you're going.
Good.
Yeah, no, I think for basically any 40B, we
Yeah.
need peer review because they're, usually it's an aggressive applicant, especially in this case where it's breaking new ground in a very wet area. So we'll, okay. Go ahead, Jan.
So June 27th, that's a Saturday, is our community invasive species removal project with Charles River. I sent that notice out. That's going to go in the town newsletter. Tomorrow is our Talk of the Town presentation to Council on Aging. That's at 1 o'clock in the community center, the first floor community center room. And I guess they have 7 people signed up, so we might the attendees.
Well, I plan on being there.
Oh, good. Okay. So I have, I put together some interesting open space and wetlands trivia to share. And then we can also just talk about generally what we do. And I also have some site maps that we can talk to folks about. And then I sent out my letter in opposition to some anti-wetland amendments that have been proposed to the Mass Ready Act. I don't know if everyone had a chance to review that. That is an MACC template letter. So it's pretty basic. I always trust them in their facts. So I don't know if anyone had any comments on that. If you do have any comments, if you could get those to me by today's Wednesday, by the end of tomorrow.
Do we know when those amendments are being voted on at the state level? It was like
they looks like the amendments got out of committee. They got amended to what's going out to things. Is that correct, Janet?
That's right. So they're in the current bill that's considered by the House Ways and Means. Then it has to go to the House, and then there's a conference committee. But the amendments are in. They're now forming the bill.
And do you know, Janet? Did you have a chance to research anything? Any idea who because some of them seem quite discordant with the general tone
I was
of
not a
that.
fan.
Any idea who was it a lobbyist? Was it who sponsored those amendments?
Yeah, I haven't heard the background on all that. So
So I know they're obviously they're So they're looking at taking away our ability in terms of review for DEP setbacks. Now, as I understand it, when we've dealt with Red Robin and things like that, we they only had to comply with standard DEP setbacks. Isn't that correct, Janet?
That's right, as a 40B,
Yeah.
they're not subject to the local bylaws, and that's the same that's being proposed here. Certain housing projects of certain sizes would not be subject to our local review.
Okay. So, but it would be still subject to DEP review.
That's right.
Okay. And then the other one was the Roadside, which seems a little bit interesting that, that became so important to add it as an amendment.
Yeah, so a number of Concoms have really taken this on. I don't think it's really a big issue here, but certainly in urban areas, there's a lot of concern about, using that type of pesticide in urban areas.
No, I'm kind of worried about it here with our raptors, but it hasn't like blown up yet. But I feel like we should do something at some point because I'd hate for it to blow up and be like, oh wow, a bunch of birds died. Now let's do something.
Yeah, I think we have enough open space where people aren't really dealing with that many rodents for, unless they're bringing out boxes for mice, but we don't really have much of a rat issue.
Yeah.
And then what was the third one, Janet?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I think, well, there's the rodent stuff, the setbacks, and
It was basically just taking away all local control.
yeah.
Or administration of any local bylaws.
And this is not specific to the MBTA or to 40B. It seems to be something under the governor's purview in terms of her push for denser housing. Is that correct, or is it other?
It's an effort to streamline the process and make it more efficient.
Yeah. So that's it is a little open-ended for those, and then to have those amendments on them. So anyway, I will entertain. So Jen, I believe you need our permission to go ahead and submit that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the submission of the letter that Janet sent us concerning what would you call it? Concerning what's the format? It's concerning what, Janet?
A letter in opposition to the anti-wetlands amendments to the Mass Ready Act.
Great. So can somebody so move?
I so move.
Can I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Zega?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Thank you. Let's see.
And just a reminder, this Saturday is the Housing Task Force. They're having a public forum that's in person at the community center. That starts at 9, but there will be coffee and breakfast. So if you can come, it's going to be an interesting proposal, interesting program. And then I already mentioned the Tree Preservation Committee session. That's on June 8th.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Commissioners, anybody have anything they'd like to add or bring up? Well, thank you very much for everyone's participation, and appreciate it. And hearing no objections, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
John,
Good
great
night.
meeting you. Always.